Alrighty then, it's time for everyone's favorite fetus baby, Amumu. Which one? And he's one of the champions I most recommend you learn to play if you want to carry a solo queue. What you do? For those that don't know, Amumu is one of the champions currently in the game with the highest win rates across all elos. It's peculiar because he's also a champion whose counters are readily available and rather vast. This is very interesting also because even the less experienced players know these weaknesses, so Amumu dominating due to people not knowing his counters is not valid. Amumu does well because he's a very simple champion whose initiation is explosive and fast. He's basically a walking grenade that can cause the destruction of an enemy team if they're caught. Initiations like this can nullify even huge threats and make up for lackluster teammates. I do wholeheartedly recommend Amumu to players that want to climb solo queue, but I also stress that if you don't know matchups or how to work around your own counters, then I wouldn't pick Amumu. He may be a simple champion, but there are a lot of ways for Amumu to get punished and picked on. However, if you're in like the lower divisions, you're pretty much never going to get punished, so he's a really good champion to get you out of silver and even gold. Anyways, the Yasuo's been getting super aggressive against the Twisted Fate, so it's just kind of wait for him to blunder into his own death. I hope you saw that, like, at the very last second that Twisted Fate could hold on to his card, he got the gold card and struck Yasuo in his face. I think Yasuo didn't think I'd be there, because they think he thought I'd gank top lane or just be farming or something, or I'd be forced home, right? Because he saw that I got slowed down near blue buff and junk like that. So he didn't expect me to be there, and he engaged against the Twisted Fate as soon as he thought that his card was going to be out, because Twisted Fate had no mana. He was a very easy mark to kill. Unfortunately, it's just the fates aligned that my team would succeed. Here, I'm just waiting for Kennen to get a little aggressive because the Gnar is at very low health, and I'm pretty sure Kennen is close to level 6. So I just waited, kept feigning the recall. I just want to see how much time I was wasting. Kennen goes in. I actually missed my Q, but he still flashes instinctively. So technically, that was still a winning gank. Now, I forgot to say my runes and masteries. Magic Pen Red, Armor Yellow, Magic Resistance Blues, Ability Power Quints, and 921 0 masteries. 9 is having cooldown reduction and ability power. Once again, I gank Yasuo. He just pretty much gets stun locked and quite easily destroyed. Right now, the Vi hasn't been effective at all. Vi should have focused either on ganking or trying to find me. She could have punished me around red buff after they saw that I got slowed down during blue buff. I didn't get any punish, and it kind of really sucks for the enemy team. Because now that I'm level 6, my ganks just become astronomically strong. Like right now, the enemy team, I use Varus to bait the Graves and Taric in. I go in, pop my ultimate, but I cannot do anything beyond that. Twisted Fate's going to show up right now, so he's going to be able to pick up the Graves. Then this is going to suck. The Varus is going to face check, and it's going to result in his death. Yeah. Twisted Fate managed to pick up the Taric, though, and I don't get an assist on that one. Morgana shows up. The Yasuo and the Twisted Fate exchange blows. Yasuo gets caught. He tries to get really aggressive, and he ends up dying still again. So that was an astronomically bad situation for the enemy blue team. Now, with Amumu, you can see I have 3 assists. If they were kills, I would have been comfortable enough to just start going AP, but instead I'm going with Cinderhulk. As y'all know, Amumu has multiple build routes. He's a champion that's really easily effective with his builds, but unlike Jax, it's not really going to hold him back too much. I'll talk about the builds in a sec. I just want to talk about this. This is actually a bait against the Vi. I know she's still in the bush, but I want to make her think that I don't want to fight her. So I plop the ward and leave, and it causes her to chase me. So I go hide in this bush, wait for the Twisted Fate to show up, and we just CC lock her to death. This is a very common bait trick that a lot of people fall for. It's like they assume that I'm weaker than them and that I don't want to fight. So it makes it easier to get them to chase you or to play recklessly. That death set Vi behind quite a bit because, as you can see, she's building damage. It's not recommended to be building damage unless you have a clear lead or an idea that you're going to be having to build damage or it won't hurt you as badly. This is one of the things that with a Amumu is both a strength and a weakness. And the strength is that you can't really tell so early on as a tank champion that you can decide, fuck it, I'll go AP. You have to actually see that your teammates have a considerable advantage. So you cannot pre-build yourself AP without having either another tank picking up the slack or having just absolutely decimated the enemy team. Since I have mostly assists, like I already said, I didn't go full on AP, but I am starting to go AP. You can see that I'm building my way towards an hourglass. If I had gotten a few kills off, I would have wanted to build myself a Leandry's Torment, a Death Cap, and then just burned everybody to death with my tears. Now watch this too. This is actually a really great gank that I have to toot my own horn for. The enemy team, blue team, is warded in every position. The minions give away that this little bush is warded. However, I don't suspect that they have a bush in the side bush. I mean, a ward in the side bush. So I hide in this little tiny crack in the corner over here. That actually cannot be revealed by anything but a ward in the side bush. So they get really aggressive. They get caught and they're absolutely destroyed. Again, there is no way they could have seen me in that little spot unless they had 3 wards. Or not 3 wards, they had to have a ward in the bush right there, the side bush you saw me just cross by. I knew they had one in the tri-bush, which is why you saw me hug the wall on the approach down to the bottom. And then the side bush in the lane, that was warded as the minions gave it away. And I just figured they didn't react fast enough when I was coming down the river, so I would suppose they didn't have that warded. Upon looking at the replay, they did have it warded, but only for about 3 seconds before I went down to the lane. And they did spot me, but they just didn't react to it. Still, though, it worked out best, and it kind of still points out the fact that they can't actually see me in that little spot. Anyways, we get full on engaged. I use my ultimate. I trap 3 people, and I even go in my hourglass, but it's not enough to survive. Fortunately enough for me, they spent a lot of resources on me. And so it allows Varus and the Gnar who just teleported in to absolutely annihilate them. They traded 3 for 2 right now. You'll see 3 of them die. And they took me out. And I'm not truly a really high valuable target, so it was a very desperate play from the enemy team. Like, holy crap, so many resources were blown on me. And it resulted in them pretty much getting wiped out. Here, Tarek is going to get sniped down and murdered too. So either way, like I will give props to the Twisted Fate. He was kind of one of the biggest reasons we won. But it's still this game still showcased how very snowbally Amumu is. You clear camps rather quickly, although I didn't farm too much. Your ganking damage is actually pretty admirable. Your Q sets up a lot of plays when it comes to the ganking phase, and your ultimate can just shut down people. Again, the whole idea is that you have to know how to work your way around the map to exploit this, because otherwise, as a Mumu, you're going to get shit stomped. Either way, hooray for Mummy Boy! Anyways, I want to showcase this again. You can see this is from the enemy's point of view. They spotted me with a ward that was already dying, and they saw that I was hugging the wall. I go around thinking that, I'd be hidden. Turns out the minions give me away, so I go off up to the river, and I hide in that little spot. You see, from their point of view, they can't see me. Changing to my point of view, my team's, you can see where I'm standing exactly. But changing it back to their view, they cannot see me at all. To them, they might have thought that I'm not even there anymore. So you see them get a little bit more aggressive, and Terra gets a little too close. And Morgana snipes him. Then Graves decides to dash in, but that's a fatal mistake. And I grab them both with my ultimate, and me and Varus and Morgana just destroy them all. Hope this shows you that ganking can be a bit more tricky than most people give it credit for.